Welcome to UT Southwestern. It is an honor and a joy to be associated with the exceptional student that you are here for today. Whether it be your child, grandchild, parent, niece or nephew, brother or sister, spouse or significant other, we would all like to thank you for the opportunity to participate in their medical education, and want to especially thank your students for choosing UT Southwestern Medical School. My name is Dr. Angela Mahalik, and I'm a proud graduate of UT Southwestern Medical School class of 1995. I'm a pediatrician on faculty and serve as the Dean of Medical Students and Associate Dean for Student Affairs. All of us in Student Affairs and Student Life are thrilled to have you here and want to make this event as pleasant and memorable as possible. I first want to express my gratitude to Ms. Susie Smith, Director of Student Life, who the students affectionately refer to as the Queen of UT Southwestern, because of her ability to plan wonderful events such as this one, among the many other ways that she supports your students' wellness. Throughout the program, if you need anything at all, please let our staff know. They are here to help you and assist you in any way. If I could pause now and ask you to silence your cell phones, we'd be very grateful. During the first portion of this event, and before the presentation of the white coat, we would like you to help you understand a bit about UT Southwestern Medical Center, about your medical students' curriculum, some of the ways your students will experience it, and some of the people who will be involved with them along the way. We will begin with an overview of UT Southwestern Medical Center, most appropriately provided by Dr. W.P. Andrew Lee. Dr. Lee is the Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost and Dean of the Medical School. Dr. Lee completed his undergraduate education at Harvard College, medical school and general surgery residency at Johns Hopkins, and his plastic surgery training at the Massachusetts General Hospital. Dr. Lee is a renowned leader in plastic and reconstructive surgery, specifically in hand and upper extremity transplantation. At Johns Hopkins, he led one of the largest hand and arm transplant programs in the field. His group was especially focused on restoring function to military servicemen who had upper extremity amputations as a result of combat injuries. In the laboratory, Dr. Lee's pioneering research on the development of a tolerance strategy for vascularized composite allotransplantation led to an innovative protocol that minimizes immunosuppression and long-term risks associated with transplantation surgery. And he has been the principal investigator on multiple federal research grants totaling over $10 million. He currently serves as president of the American Association for Hand Surgery and has received numerous prestigious research awards and honors throughout his career. I am delighted to introduce to you Dr. Lee.
Thank you, Dr. Mahalik. I'm delighted to be here and like to welcome the students, families, and friends. Every year at the white coat ceremony, the medical students put on their white coats for the first time, marking an important role transformation from a traditional student to a health professional. To the patients, the white coat symbolizes trust, respect, and dignity, attributes that need to be earned and cherished. The UT Southwestern Medical Center today had a humble beginning back in 1943 in this group of temporary Army barracks that you can see, known as the Southwestern Medical College. 3 years later, a local philanthropist donated a piece of land just 2 miles from downtown Dallas, and some 73 years later, this is what that piece of land has become of. starting with the original South Campus, where we are this afternoon, to the East Campus that houses our radiation oncology and technology transfer programs, the West Campus, where our professional office building, clinical facility, and our new Clements University Hospital are. By the way, we're adding a third wing to the hospital that'll open next year. And finally, the North Campus, where a lot of our basic science new research buildings are. Now, in case you spot some open lands in the North Campus, they're not to be open land very soon, because just 3 months ago, we broke grounds for a 9-story research building for our Peter O'Donnell Brain Institute and also a 9-story outpatient cancer building. Our mission at UT Southwestern is to promote health and a healthy society that enables achievement of full human potential. Those missions include education of physicians, scientists, and caregivers optimally prepared to serve the needs of the patients and society, to provide the best clinical care possible with continuous improvement and innovation for better care tomorrow, and to conduct research that addresses unmet needs by finding better treatment, cure, and prevention with real-world application. We've come a long way in those missions. Currently, we're ranked number 26 in medical school and research in the country, and we're continuing going up the scale. We're ranked as the number 1 hospital in the metropolitan Dallas-Fort Worth area with 7 nationally ranked specialties. And in scientific research, we have been rated number 1 in the world for healthcare institutions for publishing high-quality, impactful scientific research. There are 3 schools in our education arena. In addition to the medical school, we also have the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, as well as School of Health Professions. Every year, we have over 900 medical students in 4 years of class, almost 1,500 residents in clinical training in 24 core programs under ACGME, and over 120 subspecialty fellowship and other clinical programs. And finally, there are almost 40,000 practitioners involved in our continuing medical education program. Just this spring, we graduated our first class of students who completed our new curriculum. You will hear much more about the curriculum from Dr. Blake Rogers, but as you can see, it consists of carefully designed educational blocks in the 3 phases of the curriculum, including pre-clerkship, clerkship, and post-clerkship. There's also a constant stream of academic colleges gathering throughout the 4 years, which will be described by Dr. Gary Reed later this afternoon. One key aspect of our new curriculum is the focus on learning as a part of a team. In the $6 million state-of-the-art facility for team-based learning, emphasis are placed on student preparation outside of class and application of their knowledge in class. Our new simulation center opened just a year ago on the West Campus. It has 28,000 square foot. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, simulation center in the US for medical education. It represents a new and integral part of our education and training mission that allows our students to replicate real-life experiences by applying what they've learned in the classroom in a simulated environment. I mentioned that 3 schools overall. The School of Health Professions has about 325 students in 7 degree programs, including the top-ranked program in physician assistant in the US. Our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences has 12 degree granting programs with over 1,000 students. Our health system is expanding. We have 2 hospitals, soon to become 3 hospitals, with opening of our Frisco facility this December. We also have 4 partner hospitals in the metropolitan area. We have over 80 specialties clinically, and we're regarded as the premier medical center in the North Texas region. Our physician group has over 80 clinical specialties and 2,900 faculty physicians in a number of cutting-edge fields. We were ranked as the #1 hospital in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the UN News and World Report, with 7 nationally ranked specialties that you can see. We also have the only National Cancer Institute designated cancer center in North Texas. We earned the Magnet designation for nursing excellence, and finally, in the clinical quality and safety arena, we're amongst the top 10 amongst about 400 academic medical centers in the country. This is what our medical campus looks today, looking from the south and Harry Hines, but they're fast expanding. I mentioned the Frisco Hospital that opened in December. The 3rd wing of the Clements University Hospital will open September of next year. A vivarium for laboratory research will open also next year. And finally, the Radiation Oncology Building and the Cancer and the Brain Institute building will open in 2021 and 2022, respectively. And finally, perhaps most importantly, our discovery mission is met by international recognized research with path-breaking investigators and faculty that are driving the future of medicine. We have over 500 research laboratories and over 500 clinical trials with thousands of protocols and almost $470 million of external funding in research for biomedical sciences. According to Nature Index, we're the #1 healthcare institution in the world for publishing high-quality scientific research. We're also ranked as #5 in the world in published research articles cited in patent applications. We're proud of our 6 Nobel laureates, starting with Dr. Goldstein and Brown. And we are also equally proud of our 22 members of the National Academy of Sciences, 17 members National Academy of Medicine, and 12 Howard Hughes Medical Institute investigators. For those of you who don't know, the Howard Hughes Medical Institution select their investigator only from the very top layer of scientists in the country. This ranking perhaps gives you some idea of how we compare with other top medical institutions in the country, with a lot of familiar names trailing well behind UT Southwestern. We're looking forward to the future, and we think that brain is a major area. The Peter O'Donnell Brain Institute was established, and we were delighted to welcome our inaugural director, Dr. Dower from University of Michigan, just this summer. The Institute will advance our understanding of brain diseases by uniting the disciplines of research, education, and pioneering clinical treatment. It represents $1 billion investment, with almost half of it coming from philanthropy. It aims to identify the causes and mechanisms of all major forms of brain diseases, including Alzheimer's, autism, and other areas, in order to develop more effective and innovative treatment, and ultimately means of cure and prevention. There are many other exciting programs going on campus. The Heyman Center for Regenerative Science and Medicine focuses on degenerative diseases of heart, brain, and other organs. If you are over the age of 40, this likely affects you in one way or another. The Lyda Hill Department Bioinformatics harnesses the power of big data to help us transform biological, genomic, and clinical data into improved disease risk and progression. Center of Gene Therapy seeks to deliver genes into diseases, patients with diseases with genetic defects through a virus. Gene editing is being pioneered on this campus for certain neuromuscular diseases. And finally, we have made significant technology development, such as cryo-electron microscopy and other forms of advanced imaging studies. This is but a small capsule of what UT Southwestern Medical Center is about today. I look forward to meeting some of you today, and again, congratulate our medical students for earning their white coats. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Sorry. The academic colleges form the heart and soul of UT Southwestern Medical School. Two of our presenters today serve in leadership roles in the colleges, so I'm going to introduce to you both of them now. At the start of the formal white coat ceremony, you will hear about the symbolism of the white coat from Dr. James Wagner. Dr. Wagner serves as the director of the colleges, has previously served for many years in student affairs, and is a graduate of UT Southwestern Medical School, class of 1986. Right now, you will hear from Dr. Gary Reed. Dr. Reed is a professor of medicine and associate dean for quality, safety, and educational outcomes. He is also a graduate of UT Southwestern class of 1977. He serves as the headmaster of the academic colleges and will now explain its significance in your students' education. Dr. Reed.
Well, thank you, Angela, and I certainly would also like to welcome everyone to your visit to the Southwestern campus. And what I would like to do today is present you a little bit about our academic colleges system. First of all, I'd like to say that the colleges have been very honored to partner with the Office of Student Affairs for the past 11 or 12 years in the white coat ceremony, and I'm glad that we're able to continue that tradition. First of all, you might ask, what are the academic colleges? Well, the academic colleges were started about 11 or 12 years ago at Southwestern, and basically it is a learning community where small groups of students are paired with clinical faculty very early in their career so that they can start learning some of the more softer elements of what it's like to be a physician. For example, they learn how to do a history and physical, learn about ethics, professionalism, clinical reasoning, things like that. And so our goal out of the colleges is to help the students learn to be the kind of professional and clinical physician or researcher that will help patients in the future. The colleges have 6 different colleges that are each named after a namesake from someone who's been very important in the history of Southwestern. Dr. Carey was an ophthalmologist who was involved in the establishment of Southwestern Medical School at the very start when the school was in the barracks that Dr. Lee described before. Ron Esterbrook was the chairman of biochemistry here for many years and was also the first UT Southwestern faculty to be admitted to the National Academy of Sciences. Gladys Fashena was a pioneer in pediatric cardiology early on as a faculty member. Dr. Pritchard was the chairman of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology for many years and started and was critical in the starting of the writing of Williams' textbook of OB-GYN, which is one of the textbooks that has been used for decades in teaching OB-GYN. Don Selden, who is sometimes known as the intellectual leader at Southwestern, was the chairman of internal medicine for many decades and stayed and contributed on the faculty until he died last year at age 97. Finally, Dr. Sprague was an early dean and president of Southwestern Medical School, especially during the very rapid growth of Southwestern in the 1970s and early 80s. So these represent the 6 colleges that we have. Each college has a master that is a senior clinician from the faculty that oversees the activities of their particular college, and then has somewhere between 6 and 8 or 9 mentors of the colleges that each with their 5 or 6 students that they will follow their complete 4 years of their medical stay at Southwestern. One thing I would like to do is be sure that everyone enjoys the day, because like I mentioned, this is a very big milestone in the career development for our students. So I'd like to welcome you, and please feel free to visit with the faculty today when you see them, because we would certainly like to get to know all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Besides your college's mentors, myself and Susie Smith, there are many, many people committed to your students' well-being. Among these include my colleagues in Student Affairs, as Associate Deans for Student Affairs. I would like to introduce to you Dr. Shauna Nesbitt. Dr. Nesbitt is an Associate Dean for Student Affairs in the Office of Student Diversity and Inclusion and is Professor of Internal Medicine. Dr. Blake Barker is an Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Associate Professor of Internal Medicine. He will shortly provide you an overview of the curriculum, while our newest addition to Student Affairs, Dr. Melanie Solistio, also an Associate Professor of Internal Medicine, will describe how students experience their education and how you can support them. And now, Dr. Blake Barker.
Good afternoon. Congrats, students, on getting through your 3rd course of medical school. Way to go. Fourth. I'm sorry. Apologize. And welcome to all the families. I was talking to one student whose family drove no less than 8 hours to get here. I'm sure many of you made really long trips to get here. We appreciate your attendance as well. If you're not from Texas, welcome to fall in Texas. We're going to be in the 80s on Monday, and we call that a cold front. We're looking forward to busting our jackets out once it breaks 85. So this is the way it is down here. My job today is to provide a little comic relief. We know it's an austere and important day, but not to understate the importance. But we know it's a long morning or afternoon as well. And I'm supposed to talk to primarily the parents. We know this is a time for you to get acquainted to what your students are experiencing as medical students and future doctors here. I'll talk to you about the curriculum. Dr. Solistio will talk to you more about the student experience. Before I get to the parents, I want to get to the students first. I got a question for you. So some 4, 5, 6 months ago, you got your first acceptance to medical school. You've been here about 3 months. And during that brief amount of time, raise your hand if you've already received a phone call, text, or email from someone you know asking for medical advice. I mean, it's an incredible proportion. I remember when I got that call, and actually it was a text. It was the early days of text message, and my aunt texted me something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I was a first-year medical student, my first semester too, and I first thought, why is she asking me this question I had no idea what the answers to? And in fact, my response to her, it was back in the days of texting where you had to press the number 3 times to get the letter you wanted. My answer to her was, am not doctor yet, ask your doctor. Because I didn't feel ready, and I wasn't ready. But what I didn't recognize in that moment is what she was signaling to me is that she trusted me to help her with something that was important to her. And this has come full circle in my life, and I'm sure all the lives of the physicians that are here, that friends and family will continue to seek out your advice. And what they're really saying is that they trust you, that they know you, and they know you can meet that trust. And what will be even more remarkable is that strangers will put the same amount of trust in you. This experience has come full circle many times in my life. Came full circle again not 2 hours ago. One of my friends from college who called me about a month ago and begged and pleaded for me to help with his medical care. I argued with him for about half an hour. We're good friends, so we can argue about this kind of thing. And eventually acquiesced because what he told me was he was worried. He was scared. He's had some health problems that he didn't feel like were being taken care of properly. And I agreed to at least assist. And he called me about 2 hours ago with a significant problem that he was worried about. And it's that amount of trust that you are beginning to experience as medical students here, those of you in contacted, and all of you will get a taste of it today as you don the white coat. It's really about trust. As Dr. Solistio says, I have to give her credit for this statement, the customer of your education, if you will, is not you. It's really the patients, and it's really their trust they're going to put in you as future doctors. And I know you take that seriously, and I think you'll feel a new level of it today as you put on that white coat. I know when you got that call, and when you put on that coat today, it's going to feel a little bit more like this. I remember that feeling too. You think, I just barely got here, and I barely know my way to the TBL space. Much less the answer to whatever that problem person brought to you, but realize that as people approach you, as future patients and family and friends approach you with problems, this is how they're looking at you. They see you as a person who is deserving of that trust. And though you may not know everything, they see you as someone who is willing and able and prepared to help them with a problem that's really important to them. And that's to signal to you that medical school, included in the studies you have and all the facts and figures you memorize, is an incredible personal transformation. And Dr. Solistio is going to talk a little bit more about that, so I don't want to steal her thunder, but I want to speak to it for just a moment. I wish it was quick. I wish it was a lot like this. I showed this gift to my son, who's 3.5 years old, and his jaw dropped. He's not old enough to get Halloween costume envy yet, but I've realized I got to get my dad game up. But I wish the transformation was this fast. It's much, much slower. It comes incrementally, sometimes imperceptibly slowly, to where you won't necessarily recognize how you're changing along the way. I know no one really wants to be compared to a butterfly, but this analogy works really, really well, and I want you to kind of pay attention to a few key features here. This is a journey that we've all been on. This is college. You're just hanging out with your friends, eating leaves, checking Instagram. But soon, you start to recognize the challenge. You take the MCAT, and you start to climb up the stalk. You're still a caterpillar, you're still a college student, but you realize that there's a challenge out there for you that will not only help others, but will also enrich your own life on a personal level. Right now, you're right here. You feel still like a caterpillar, you feel like an overgrown college student, but you're slowly changing, and after 4 blocks down, you're hanging on, and you realize that I can do this, I am going to make it. And over your time here, you're going to change, and we'll talk about that evolution as we talk through the curriculum. When you decided to apply to medical school, I know all of you did it out of a love for science, and that's essential. I know all of you did it out of a love for patients and human connection and helping others, and that's also essential. But I know also inherent in you signing up for this journey was also the love of a challenge. That feeling that a marathon runner gets at the beginning of a race is the feeling I think medical students get at the beginning of medical school. And it's a journey that's very worthwhile, a journey where you know there's going to be problems and you're going to run into the proverbial wall like marathon runners, but you know that the victory lap at the end is going to be worth it all. It's going to be a lot of hard work. What I want you to realize is that today is a great day to remind yourself that you're not doing it alone. It takes a village to make a doctor. It takes a lot of people to support you, and today is a great day to reflect upon the support you've had from your friends and family, and I want to make sure we give them the credit that's due. We're always amazed at how many people actually come to this ceremony. We obviously don't even have a lecture hall big enough to take care of the audience. I want to make sure we give the viewing audience from parts of our campus some credit. So students, if you wouldn't mind turning around, camera guy, if you could pan out a little bit, and if students would turn and wave at the camera that's there in the back, so the viewing audience who wasn't able to even make it in the room knows that you appreciate them, what they've given you along the way. So the rest of this talk really is for the parents and the family and the significant others and the friends, whoever it is that came with you today to support you on this journey, to give you a sense of our curriculum and where your students are currently and where they're headed. Reminder, they're right here at the very beginning. They're just that caterpillar hanging on, but they are hanging on. They're at the very, very start of this long journey. This is, you'll hear us still refer to this as the new curriculum. We almost can't stop saying it, even though it's not entirely new. As has been stated before, we have graduated our first class as of this past May who has completed the quote-unquote new curriculum. But it still feels very new to us, and there's some really wonderful features we're very proud of that I want to highlight. The centerpiece of our curriculum that I'll talk about in a moment, but just to signal it to you now, is really this orange shaded piece, the clerkship period, where students are with patients and with doctors in the hospital and clinic every day, and that really is where the deep learning happens. But of course, the foundation is necessary to be prepared for that transition. That's where they are right now in the pre-clerkship phase. So right now, they're in these blocks down here at the bottom where they're learning the very basics of human physiology and anatomy. There's a necessary foundation that has to be laid. It's honestly almost like taking a foreign language course. You're learning a whole new language, learning what the different terminology means, and learning how to start to put the pieces together. One of the features of the new curriculum was to get students to patients as soon as possible, and so we make that transition in a year and a half, whereas traditionally students spend 2 years in the classroom. But we attempt to make that transition even earlier in the classroom itself, so by January, they'll be in what's called the integrated medicine blocks, where there'll be much more to learn. They'll be learning about diseases within systems, starting with the musculoskeletal system in January. There'll be much more physiology for them to learn, but they'll start to learn how physiology starts to break down, how pathophysiology develops, and how to start to recognize patterns of disease and initial treatments to start to help patients they'll soon be assisting. And they spend a full year in those blocks, and that really is the foundational part to help them prepare for the next phase of the curriculum. During that time, when they're learning about pathophysiology and physiology and disease patterns, we also integrate a series of sessions called Foundations of Clinical Reasoning that you can see pictured on the right. And that is where they learn how to take the information they've acquired through their nascent history-taking physical exam skills and how to integrate that information to recognize that pattern of that disease that patient is presenting with, how to analyze the data that they're acquiring to make the right decisions at the right time. It feels like this. It's a lot of information that comes very, 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 very fast, and you can see all the nodding heads in the room in front of you. It is incredibly fast-paced, and they've already, even though they may not be giving themselves credit, they've already made that adjustment to adjust to the incredibly fast pace of the curriculum, but it is incredibly fast-paced. I'm sure they'll tell you a lot about that over dinner tonight. There are many other things that are important in making a doctor besides science. The science is necessary, but we also want to have the right skills to be able to apply the science they've acquired. And one thing we recognize is important is to recognize that medicine is no longer like this. It is no longer an individual physician by him or herself providing care. It's now a team sport. Pictured here is one of our clinical teams that's focused on one disease. They're only focused on stroke. And you can see that team looks much different than the era before. It's far more diverse, both in terms of personal background, but also professional training. You see doctors, nurses, physical therapists, pharmacists, physician assistants, and so on, working together to solve problems for patients that are experiencing one single disease, and that's stroke. And so we'll talk about that in a second, but that's we integrate some team-oriented experiences so they can learn to develop those skills of being highly functional within teams. One place our schools made a big investment in is what we call the new colleges commons. And so each of their colleges has a space for them to learn, study, and have unstructured time together achieving goals. And they're really beautiful spaces. I think a testament to the leadership of our school recognizing how important it is for students to have that home base. The other important space is the team-based learning center, where our entire class can fit. It's large enough to hold 230 to 240 students who are situated at tables of approximately 6 to 7 students. And during team-based learning sessions, which happen at least once in each course, they'll work together to solve a problem spontaneously and learn how to develop those team-based skills to be more effective when they encounter similar problems with patients. There's a lot of technology that supports education. Don't ask them about ExamSoft. They'll shut down. They won't talk to you. They don't want to talk about it. Do ask them about MediaSite. That's where they can choose to absorb the curriculum, absorb the information where they see fit, which may be in their own bedroom in their pajamas. And we trust them to make the right decisions to absorb the information as they see fit because they know themselves better. There are some new technologies, new to them rather, one called EMS, and these are technologies that allow us to do something we also have added to the curriculum, and that's an increased amount of simulation. Our school made another investment in a large simulation center, pictured in this picture. And the philosophy behind this is we know that if you are a violinist, your first experience trying the violin was not on a stage. Your first experience was not reading about the violin and immediately getting put on a stage. You need to be able to practice those skills in a lower stakes environment to develop the techniques you need to know to be able to practice with patients effectively. And so the simulation experiences will be integrated in their curriculum throughout their experience here so they can develop the technical skills that are nascent or critical to effective physicians. Something they've begun to experience through the Simulation Center is clinical skills development, what we call standardized patients. Standardized patients are actors. They're not physicians. They're not even in healthcare. They are people outside of healthcare who have learned to behave like a patient in such a way that even practicing physicians may not recognize that they're not a real patient. They're highly trained actors. And our students will have multiple experiences with them, and that's where they'll start to develop those history-taking skills, the earliest skills of doctoring, how to interact with the patient, acquire the information you need, and provide the support that patients expect, and also develop the earliest physical examination skills. In addition, they'll go through several objective, structured clinical examinations where their skills will be evaluated. But throughout that, they'll be videotaped. No one loves to watch themselves on videotape, but it's an incredible learning experience to know what you look like when you're interacting with patients and to hone your skills. All of that is the foundation necessary to get to the centerpiece of the education. That's the clerkship period. And the clerkships are the core clerkships, the traditional pediatrics, surgery, internal medicine, and so on, that students will spend 4 to 8 weeks within those specialties, immersed with practicing physicians, seeing real patients with real physicians, working with them every day. We also, in the new curriculum, added some new features that we think enhance the education and will enhance your students' experiences as well. They'll have 6 weeks of electives where they can choose to explore a specialty that may not be considered part of the core curriculum. And they'll also have 12 weeks to do something called scholarly activity that I'll come back to in a moment, but want you to see it pictured here, where they'll spend 12 weeks delving into a problem that they find interesting in the patients that they've seen, the specialties that they've experienced. So at this point of the curriculum, coming back to the butterfly analogy, they do go into a bit of a cocoon, but it's a happy cocoon. You may not hear from them as much because they'll be working harder than they've ever worked in their lives, but you'll find them energized, and perhaps even more energized than they'll feel in the pre-clerkship curriculum, because now is where they're getting to the place that they expected to be, with patients, with real doctors every day, learning how to be a real physician. Soon enough, before they know it, they'll move into the post-clerkship phase. They'll emerge from that cocoon, and they'll think, I think maybe I can make this happen. Speaking a little bit more about the clerkships and the places where they'll have these clinical experiences, we're really truly lucky here to have multiple amazing clinical institutions who support our education here on our campus and further out in our community. And listed here are a few of the key ones. I'll talk about a few specifics. The ones I won't speak to in detail are the Dallas Veterans Affairs Medical Center, one of the largest in the country in South Dallas, where students support our veterans who've given a lot to our country. And last, Texas Health Resources is a newer affiliation with our university and has numerous hospitals around the Metroplex where students are beginning to get experiences in more private practice-like settings. And it looks like this, with real patients, with real faculty, helping patients and really starting to fulfill the ambition that they set before themselves in their personal statements. This is an aerial view that's a few years old, but just to give you a sense of where these places are as I talk about them, you're approximately here. Children's Medical Center is due south of where you're located right now. Parkland is across the street on the east side of Harry Hines. And north is UT Southwestern's hospital, Clements University Hospital. It's the newest addition to our clinical training. It opened in December of 2014 at a cost of $800 million. And the only thing they didn't anticipate was how incredibly popular it would be among patients. The demand that we've experienced has surpassed all expectations, which I think is a testament to the educational experience that students will receive there well. And there's currently an expansion underway that will add close to 300 beds. Will open next fall in about a year. It looks like this. It's a beautiful place. I personally have had family receive care there. Both of my children have been born there, so I can attest that it's a place that's truly beautiful place to be a patient, but also to learn. And our community has recognized that, and we are 3 years running the #1 hospital in DFW per the U.S. News and World Report rankings. Parkland Hospital is an equally beautiful place, opened just a year later at a cost of $1.3 billion, enormous hospital that provides safety net care for the Dallas County community, patients who would otherwise not have many options to receive health care. It is truly a beautiful place as well, and I practice there too and can attest it's an incredible place to learn. And you'll see diseases and problems that many people wait a career to see, and you'll see them during your medical school experience. Children's Medical Center is not quite as new, but equally amazing. Close to 500 beds, one of the largest in the U.S., and we've been affiliated with them for over 50 years. Also, the only place where you can go to work and Spider-Man might be cleaning your windows. And you can also go downstairs and play with trains. An incredible quaternary care children's medical center where, again, you will see diseases that many physicians spend an entire career hoping to see, waiting to see, and you'll see them in your core education. And as you see these diseases, one of them might take your interest as a student, and a specialty might take your interest. And so our group that was in charge of curriculum development was very intentional in carving out some time for students to be able to take that interest further, and we call that the scholarly activity. So all students will spend 12 weeks in pursuit of something scholarly. That may be in the form of basic research, that may be clinical research. It could also be about quality improvement or patient safety, or global health, or helping the health of our community, and last but not least, it could be about medical education. The students choose which track they participate in because we want this to be self-directed. They pick the problems that they solve and the faculty mentors that they're going to work with. Those who choose to go above and beyond, this is a key component of pursuing an MD with distinction. There's an MD with a distinction track for each of these scholarly activity tracks as well. And that's the first taste of where we recognize that students are often better suited to identify their needs than we are. There's a foundation that all future physicians need to have, but at some point you have a clearer idea of where you're headed than maybe we do. You know what specialty you're going to pursue. You know your strengths. You know your weaknesses. And in the post-clerkship phase, we give a little bit of guidance, but for most part, it's really up to you to decide which electives and selectives to choose to round out your education so that you're prepared to meet that expectation, that trust those patients are going to give you in a not too distant future. It happens incredibly fast, really, really fast. In our office, one of our favorite times of year is July. It's also our busiest time of year when we meet one-on-one, the four of us, Associate Deans of Student Affairs, with each student in the fourth-year medical school class as they prepare for their applications to residency. We love it because it's incredible to see how they've developed and changed over those 3+ years since they've been here. And what every single student tells us to a person is, man, this went by fast. Man, this was incredibly fast. I can't believe I'm here. I feel like I just started medical school yesterday. It's an unbelievably quick experience, but along the way, you're assimilating an also equally unbelievable amount of knowledge. The amount of facts that you're putting together, connections you're making are already underway, and you'll only grow from there. Also, what Dr. Solisty will talk about a little bit is there's an incredible amount of personal growth. I am a different person, not just for being a physician today, but for having just gone through medical school. Medical school changes you as a person for the better, and you'll experience that growth too. And to support you through that growth is your faculty mentor through the colleges program. Dr. Reed spoke extensively about it, but I want to highlight a few things here. These are the faculty that your students have already begun to meet with on a weekly basis, where they're learning those basic skills of physicianship, how to take a history, how to interact with patients, and how to start to do basic physical exam maneuvers. Pictured here is Dr. Beth Brickner as an example, who is an adult cardiologist who takes care of children who are now adults but survived congenital heart syndromes. What better person to learn how to use a stethoscope from than someone like Dr. Brickner? Pictured here is Dr. Roddy Cox, who retired not just a few months ago, but until a few months ago, into his 90s, was seen in scenes just like this, sometimes not surrounded by students, surrounded by faculty, bestowing upon them his knowledge that he'd acquired over 75 years of practice. We're lucky to still have him be a part of our campus, and lucky to have so many physicians like this support our campus in general, but also the students' education. The colleges has a very intentional beginning. We like to start things out the right way. And at the end of orientation week, you may have heard, we took your students out to Glen Rose, Texas. It was the middle of summer. It was over 100 degrees. It just is what it is. And we want to get out there and let you have some downtime so you can let off some steam from an intense week, build upon some relationships that we know you've just begun, and maybe get on the court and act like you're not competitive, you know? It's cool, I'm not competitive. Meanwhile, what the students didn't know is that some of their upperclassmen were in this amphitheater on this same area in Glen Rose preparing the induction ceremony to the colleges. And also who was there getting prepared, the students didn't know about, was their future mentors and also administrators who were also getting ready for a really important ceremony. The students had no idea this was coming, we hope. We try to keep it a pretty tight secret. They had a pretty typical camp lunch. And then we told them, why don't you just follow this guy who's banging a drum? Just follow him. and see where it goes. And they did. They just followed this guy banging a drum. And they ended up in this amphitheater, crammed right next to each other, still probably 95 at this point. It cooled off quite a bit. And one by one, we called them down to the front of the amphitheater where they were inducted into their college. This is where they found out which college they would be assigned to, and if their mentor was able to make it, met their personal mentor at the front of the amphitheater one by one. Also maybe met their master, and left the stage with some new swag. New shirts, and of course matching glow-in-the-dark necklaces. Fast forward to tomorrow, they're thinking to themselves, okay, that guy with the drum was not so bad. He didn't really lead us astray. And then he paints his face green and gets a megaphone and starts yelling instructions to them. And they participate. They went through an obstacle course. We're learning some important skills in medicine, including how to bandage open wounds, how to use crutches, how to don protective equipment, and then use that protective equipment while solving puzzles. You can see they've got much to learn. You have to leave the glove on to maintain a sterile environment, but it's just the beginning. And how to do an open water rescue in your scrubs. And you can see here the competitiveness has really come out. So you can see the intensity. Celebrating, dominating the competition. What maybe was more important the day prior, I skipped it forward a day, is this is also where they got to spend their first hour with their new faculty mentor. Here's Dr. Andrea Johnson, Dr. Elwood Jones, and Dr. Belinda Vicioso, who may all be in the audience, among many other mentors. And this is where a very important relationship starts to kick off, and it's something I personally think we do very well here, and I'm really proud of in our school, is the mentor-mentee relationship through the college's program. It's just begun, but it's a mentoring relationship that's going to last the full 4 years of medical school. They'll continue to meet with this mentor and learn from them during their entire time here. Not a day after they are inducted, they have decided that they are in the best possible college. You can see the enthusiasm on their face. We recognize the Harry Potter comparisons, but we're really proud of what it brings to our community and the social fabric of our medical school experience. We think it really enhances the curriculum here. So I hope that gave you a very high-level taste of what medical school is like here, because we know you may not see them for a while. This may be the next moment, other than FaceTime or Skype, that you spend with your medical students. I'd like to point out something you may need to know at that time. They will have just finished their human structures course, which is what we call our anatomy course. And I promise MS1s the human structures course does have an end to it. It feels like it goes on forever, but I promise it does end. And it'll be right before Thanksgiving. So you'll sense a big sense of relief that they've accomplished something that is quintessential to every medical school experience, uniformly challenging, but an incredible experience to learn human anatomy. You may also see that it's the first time, perhaps ever in their lives, that they've offered to carve the turkey. But forgive them if they try to teach class and they try to point out anatomical landmarks. Medical school goes by unbelievably fast. I've said it 1,000 times, but I can't say it enough. Soon enough, you may not feel like a butterfly, but you will know that you are prepared to meet that trust. You will know that when that phone call comes, you've had the preparation to help that person who is putting their trust in you. But also want you to remember from this weekend is that there's a lot of people that hear along the way, and the next time they may be on our campus might be when you're doing this, when you raise your right hand to take the physician's oath, and that you'll be celebrating it with relationships you developed along the way, but that your cheerleading squad has been there with you the entire time throughout your medical school experience. So thanks again, parents. We really appreciate you being here. We know it's a lot of time out of your lives, but thanks for being here and supporting our students.
Dr. Barker's taller than me, so I have to adjust. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and let me please also add my welcome to all of you, all the medical students, of course, and then all the families as well. And today, I'd like to talk to you about standing on the shoulders of giants. So just over 20 years ago, I sat in an auditorium just like this one at my own white coat ceremony. My parents sat there as well, as many of your parents and family are sitting here now. So essentially, I'm just like all of you. Okay, maybe at that time I may not have known what the heck a hashtag was, and I certainly didn't know what the stream team was all about, but I can tell you exactly how that seat felt, how I felt that day, and the anticipation I had of what was to come. This day and this ceremony is all about our first-year medical students, and the symbolism of the noblest profession, which is medicine. But for just a moment, I want to address everyone else, everyone watching this ceremony, and everyone who is affected and will affect these future doctors. I stand before you today with a message, and this message comes from these future doctors via me, having sat in that same seat just over 20 years ago. It comes from over 20 years of experience following that day, and it comes from a few vantage points. First, I am a physician's daughter. Second, I am a physician's wife. And last but definitely not least, I too am a parent. So I will address all of you as dear loved ones. This means you parents and surrogate parents, you partners and spouses, you siblings, friends, and everything and anything in between. Now, I do realize that addressing you as loved one assumes that these doctors to be actually love you people, which sometimes may feel like a stretch. Perhaps I should use the word like, or maybe just tolerate, but for the sake of argument, let's just assume, shall we? Let's just assume for today that these fine young people actually love those who took the time to watch them here today. So, dear loved ones, today you will witness me participating in a timeless tradition of medicine, the donning of my white coat. It is a day of joy, but it is also a day that marks change, a change in my life, and perhaps in yours. Maybe these are changes that weigh heavy on your mind. Maybe you haven't even thought about what changes could occur, but maybe it's something you've noticed since I started med school just a few weeks ago. And I need to talk to you about these changes. I want to prepare you, or at least as much as I can, for the next part of my life, for the next part of our lives. First, let's talk about time. Dear loved one, before I started medical school, there was much time, and much time to explore life. There was time to study, of course. There was time to volunteer. There was time for fun. And there was time for Netflix. Lots and lots of Netflix. There just seemed to be a lot more time, and this thing I like to call margin. Margin meaning that extra time, a buffer, if you will, to absorb pain and anger of others who needed my ear, to be a shoulder, to counsel regarding breakups, family drama, and to commiserate about that rude person at Starbucks who cut you off. What I have found since starting medical school is that there is no longer much time. It may sound crazy to think that a human being could study for endless hours or staring at seemingly unpronounceable Latin words, hoping, praying that some sense could come from them. But it's true. It can be done. And I am living proof. For you parents, that little toddler that refused to be carried because I could do it all on my own. Yes, that same person you watched grow up now can sit for hours and hours on end, studying body parts and cells longer than you ever dreamed possible. I'm driven by a need to learn, driven by a need to do well, driven by the knowledge that the information I am trying to learn will someday affect someone's life. Yes, for that, I can sit for hours. Well, you may not see that, loved one, but you will see the effects. Sometimes the only thing you might see is that when we talk, the talks are shorter. I may sound like a sped up, fast forward version of my usual self. It may seem as if I'm trying to squeeze our previous 1-hour conversations into 15 minutes. I was talking to one of my best friends from my childhood after I started medical school, and I'll never forget. I was standing outside a coffee shop. Yes, we had coffee shops back in that day, guys. I had a backpack filled with what had to be a very unhealthy amount of weight on my back. And I just remember thinking, I have to get in there. I have to memorize at least 30 pages tonight. And then my friend voiced a simple observation. You know, Mel, every time we talk now, you always seem rushed. And this friend is still one of my best friends today. And for this, I know I am so fortunate. And why? Because he was able to love me and he was able to support me through it. You see, this friend of mine knew how long I dreamed to become a doctor. Because as kids, we used to sit around and talk about what we would become. And because he knew this, he also knew that our rushed conversations were never a reflection of how important his friendship was to me. He simply knew that it was just what I needed to do to get it done. Dear loved one, my time and my margin have changed. That Netflix time, it's gone. What I need you to know is my love for you, your importance in my life, it is most certainly not gone. If I seem rushed, it's because there is much to do to prepare to take care of those who are ill. It's because those who are ill and suffering, they deserve my best. I have a job to do, and I want to do it well. I'll do my best to tell and show you I love you. Guys, did you hear that? But please know that less time with you just means that I am devoting my time to those who I can help in the future. Parents, you raised me well. You raised me to do this. Second, let's talk about sacrifice. Up until now, you may have only seen me sacrifice a few times. Perhaps it's when you saw me sacrifice warmth, when I always insisted that jackets were the least cool thing to wear no matter what the temperature, 85 degrees or not. Dr. Barker. Well, okay, maybe you did see me sacrifice a little bit, like for instance when I studied for the MCAT, or chose to shadow that physician instead of road tripping it with my friends. But my dear loved ones, there will be more sacrifice. When we talk, you'll realize that no, I haven't seen that latest Dwayne Johnson movie, and actually, there will probably come a time when I won't even know that a new Dwayne Johnson movie was released. No, I haven't talked to my best friend from college. Truthfully, their life seems so different from mine these days. I may miss my cousin's wedding. At the start of med school, it may be because I have a major test I have to study for. And no, unfortunately, I can't just study extra the week before. It sounds logical, doesn't it? I wish it could work that way. But the truth is, I'm with the smartest of the smartest of the smartest. And remember when I was the smartest? It doesn't seem that way so much anymore. And even the smartest people at med school have to study more than you could ever possibly imagine. I have a new analogy that I shared with a medical student the other day. I liken medical school just like extreme sports, except for, in this case, it's extreme studying. Later, I may miss that wedding because I'm on call. Or maybe I just couldn't leave the bedside of that patient who had no one else. Yes, remember that selfish toddler you once knew, the one that wouldn't share his or her toy? Now, this selfish toddler knows the value of sacrifice. Dear loved one, I know my choice to sacrifice may not have been yours. And undoubtedly, these sacrifices will affect all of you too. But love me enough to know that this journey is the right journey for me. Love the part of me that wants and needs to make these sacrifices. Love the knowledge that you raised me well, or that you chose a sacrificial partner. Now, to you siblings and friends out there, just a little FYI, and speaking a little bit to what Dr. Barker was talking about, I cannot diagnose that mole on your back just yet. So please don't even go there. Dear loved one, can I also talk to you about failure? Yes, I will fail. Up until this point, it may not seem like I have that capability. But we all fail. We all fail at some point. It is what life is, and it may be hard for all of you to watch me fail. But you need to know that those failures, they won't define me. It's how I respond to them that will show my true character. And I hope that I will respond with determination, persistence, and gratitude for the lessons that I am learning along the way. For failure and disappointment can often be my greatest teachers. Let me give you a few examples. One of my smartest friends in medical school failed our first medical school test. It was crushing, but his failure had nothing to do with how smart he was. He just wasn't prepared for the test in the way he'd been used to preparing for tests in college. But then I saw him pick himself up, learn the best methods to study, and I saw him succeed. This same man got into orthopedic surgery residency, and with his intelligence, his resilience, with his grit, he distinguished himself as the best in his class and was chosen to be chief resident, the most esteemed position any resident can achieve. And now he is a successful and amazing sports orthopedic surgeon in practice. And oh, by the way, yes, he happens to be my husband. And yes, I did get permission to share that story. Failure for him was a huge driver to success. I will also experience disappointment. When I was a fourth-year medical student, I applied for a clinical rotation at a very prominent institution. You know, somewhere really awesome, like UT Southwestern. The only rotation available at the time I needed was palliative care. End-of-life rotation, and I was crushed. I was so upset. I had to have a rotation where I could prove myself like the medical ICU. FYI, friends, you can absolutely prove yourself on a palliative care rotation. But alas, I did not know that. And palliative care it was. That month changed the trajectory of my career. I learned skills of communication and the value of alleviating suffering. Fast forward to me now as a cardiology faculty at UT Southwestern, and now end of life and palliative care is a pillar of what I do. I give lectures on this topic, I've written a review paper, and my colleagues call me to help navigate some of these issues in our cardiac patients. I had no idea when I was so devastated by getting the wrong rotation that it would be absolutely the right one. Watching someone fail and be disappointed is hard. But you know what's even harder? Doing what's best for me. And what's best for me is this. Please, just be there. Be my shoulder, be my rock. Allow me to go through these trials and tribulations, and most of all, be completely okay. Be completely okay with not being able to fix it. You're going to want to fix it because you love me, I hope. Truth is, you can't, and you shouldn't, and that's really okay. Why? Because sometimes when things don't go my way, it's actually the best thing that could happen to me. Dear loved one, you need to know, overcoming challenges on my own, it gives me confidence. Getting through difficult times makes me wiser. Suffering gives me humility and the ability to empathize with others who suffer. You also need to know it will be okay. I've been welcomed into the medical family. This medical family, of course, loved one, will not be you. You are my first family. but this medical family will help carry me as well. Mostly, it will be my associate deans of student affairs. Just kidding. Sort of. It's also the friends that I'm making. It's also the staff here at the school. It's the Wellness and Counseling Center. It's the Student Academic Services, the Diversity and Inclusion team, and so many other amazing people at this institution. They are all here for me. And it's going to be okay. I've got this. But there's just one more thing you need to know. I wouldn't be here without you, and I thank you. I thank you for my past. I wouldn't have come this far if it weren't for you. I've already done so much to get to this point. And you, dear loved ones, are a large part of the reason I'm here. And I must also thank you for your role in my future. Loved ones, I thank you for your time, for the time you will spend listening, for being my shoulder, for being my rock. Loved ones, I thank you for your sacrifice, for going to that event without me when I had to study or when I was on call, for knowing sometimes that I just don't have the bandwidth to be the best counsel for you, or the ability to hear just one more sad thing. Loved ones, I thank you for your suffering, the suffering that you will inevitably endure with me when I am hurting, because I know you will. And I thank you for doing the hardest thing of all, for not trying to fix it, for not trying to fix me, and for letting me grow into the person that I am meant to be. And by the way, did you know that the term giant in astronomy means a star of great size and luminosity compared to ordinary stars? This may seem odd, of course, but it pertains to my message for all of you. You, my loved ones, are stars of great size and luminosity. You all are my giants. Loved ones, I will get through this. We will get through this. I will work hard. I will sacrifice. I will suffer, and I will achieve. I will rise above and do what it takes to be the best doctor I can be. I will stand high, and I will stand proud. And I will stand high and proud because I will be standing on your shoulders. I will be standing on the shoulders of giants. Thank you.
Before we take a short break, I'd like to provide a few important details. First, as you can probably tell from your students' clothes how they're fitting, it's likely that they have not benefited from a nice meal in a couple of months. Please feel free to remedy that while you're in town, preferably at a place with white tablecloths. Also, I want to be sure that they would be delighted if after the ceremony you wanted to slide them a little much-needed cash. or maybe go to a car dealership. Guests, there are restrooms inside the foyer of this auditorium. However, there are also two other set of restrooms that are very close. The first is downstairs by the university store, and the other is next door. If you go out on the plaza and turn left, go inside the glass doors, and it's down the hall to your left. Students, in a second, I'm going to release you first. Please take advantage of the lack of lines at the restrooms if needed, and then go straight to your lecture hall where you're going to line up with your colleagues in the colleges for the procession. And if you don't remember where your lecture hall is, I need to see you after the ceremony. So if the students could stand, and those on your left go out that door, and those on your right go out that door.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Jim Wagner. I am a proud 1986 graduate of the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School. I'm here today in my role as the Director of Colleges, and I would like to speak for 5 minutes about the symbolism of the white coat. My talk will be followed by a talk from Ashley Wallace, who is a student who will be providing the student's perspective of the white coat. I'd like to direct most of my words to the students, but I think that the message is important for the families and significant others to hear as well. Medical students, I would like to frame the significance of this ceremony and the symbolism of the white coat you're about to receive. This is a simple process, but it is rife with symbolism that has evolved over the years. It is on the white coat as a symbol that I would like to focus. On an extremely superficial level, the white coat represents Dr. Fashion. This flash and drama is the realm of TV shows. Although fun to watch people in white coats on television, I've never met a medical student who came to medical school for this reason. However, one will find them striking doctor poses every once in a while. The white coat represents something older and bigger than just doctor clothes. In fact, doctors have only been wearing the white coat for a little over 100 years. Rembrandt painted this picture entitled The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Nicolaus Tulpus in 1632. Note that there are not only no white coats at the time, but there is no diversity, no gloves, and apparently shaving had not been introduced yet. But they did have these cool white collars, starched collars. Thomas Eakins painted two depictions of doctors less than 15 years apart, this one in 1875 and one 15 years later. Here we see the American surgeon, Dr. Samuel Gross, teaching medical students at the Jefferson Medical College. Eakins painted this picture as a youth when he was relatively unknown. This painting is considered by many art historians as one of the best American paintings ever made, and certainly Eakins' masterpiece. Note there are still no white coats, no diversity, and no gloves. Less than 15 years later, the University of Pennsylvania asked Eakins to paint Dr. Hayes Agnew to honor this anatomist and surgeon on his retirement from teaching. Notice the white coats have now entered the scene. This change represented the acceptance of Sir Joseph Lister's germ theories, and the white coat became a symbol of cleanliness and a way to do no harm. About 50 years later, Sir Alexander Fleming had discovered the antibiotic defense against germs, and the white coat became more and more a symbol of power and respect. There is a downside to this aspect of the white coat, as pediatricians and psychiatrists often abandon their white coat to minimize the intimidation of their patients, often the most vulnerable ones attended to by physicians. And we know that the white coat can induce high blood pressure in some patients, such that we recognize white coat hypertension. However, there is a more positive and important aspect of the symbolism of the white coat. 10 years ago, Dr. Daniel Foster, a former chair in Department of Internal Medicine and the first headmaster of the academic colleges, during this ceremony said that the white coat symbolizes the two prime duties of being a physician: competence and compassion. I would like to end my remarks by quoting from Dr. Foster's white coat ceremony speech, which he kindly shared with me before his death 2 years ago. Dr. Foster: "There is a duty to be competent. This is the sine qua non, the without which not of physicianhood. If one is not competent in medicine, one is not ethical. The corollary is that to be a physician, one must be a life student. My favorite instruction for life students comes from a non-physician, Saint Isidore, Bishop of Seville, who died in 636. He said, 'Learn as if you would live forever. Live as if you would die tomorrow.' The second duty is to comfort always. This is what the ancients called the priestly function of the physician. It is our duty to be kind and compassionate. Sir William Osler said 100 years ago that true physicians had a singular beneficence, and that the sum of suffering relieved by that beneficence over the centuries by the long line of true physicians was such to make the angels sing. Comfort is always important, but especially in death. There we have no tools left except for our presence. Medical students, the white coat may represent fashion, cleanliness, power, competence, and/or compassion. It is the hope of those preceding you in your profession that you will keep in mind Dr. Foster's two duties of the physician in your journey through your careers as physicians, whether or not you are wearing this symbolic white coat. Always strive for competence through being lifelong learners, and fill your practice with your compassion and your fellow human beings. Thank you. It's my privilege to introduce Ashley Wallace. Ashley graduated summa cum laude from Baylor University with a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry with a minor in biology. During her years at UT Southwestern, she has been actively involved in community service, including her role as a manager of the Agape Dermatology Clinic, leader of the medical mission trip to El Paso, as well as involvement in several health fairs. She has also been involved in providing feedback on the new curriculum and coordinating an elective on religion in medicine. She is speaking today on the student's perspective of the meaning of the white coat in her role as the president of the Gold Humanism Honor Society, an organism that recognizes exemplars of compassionate patient care and who serve as role models in medicine. Ashley.
Hello, everyone. So today's the day. Today, you'll receive your white coats. I know there's probably a lot of emotions in the room, maybe excitement, anticipation, maybe exhaustion, maybe fear. But let's take a moment to reflect on how far you've come already. You've spent hours in the anatomy lab, completing painstaking work to honor the gift that's been given to you. You've made a mission statement as a class, which is a promise to your patients and to yourselves. It reads, "We, the class of 2023, promise to support each other in our humble growth as lifelong learners, community leaders, and physicians of integrity. We commit to compassionately advocate for our patients so they feel cared for, prioritized, and respected." You've also completed your first standardized patient interview. I remember my very first standardized patient interview. It was a young woman with knee pain. Instead of launching into the typical questions about location, intensity, quality, quantity, etc., like I should have, I made an attempt to be empathetic. My own experiences with knee pain usually involve running, so imagining myself in her situation, I asked her out of the blue, "So, how far did you run that day?" My patient just stared at me, and my college's group definitely had a good laugh as we watched that video together. I wish I could tell you that getting your white coat magically makes everything better, that you'll be able to identify every nerve in the tingle of that brachial plexus, that you'll know exactly what to say to each patient, and that you don't feel like an imposter dressed up in a white coat. But as your mission statement alludes to, your white coat journey is about humble growth and lifelong learning. You're not expected to know everything, so don't beat yourself up when you make a mistake. After all, the lifelong learning never stops. Though your white coat doesn't immediately transform you, it does open up a lot of conversations. You'll be greeted with a friendly, "What's up, doc?" in the VA elevators. You'll be invited into the life of a family when your patient is in critical condition. You'll have the chance to spend time with your patients, to learn about their disease, but also to learn who they are as people. Who is important to them? How do they cope with their medical condition? What motivates them amidst their medical and social challenges? On my pediatrics rotation, my favorite part of the day was seeing my 4-year-old patient with a severe chromosomal disorder, which was complicated by global developmental delay, seizures, and chronic lung disease. Every morning, I found her mother at her bedside, suctioning the patient's oral secretions and making sure that her daughter was comfortable. I loved following this case because I found this mother's unconditional love for her daughter so meaningful. The mother was a carrier for a rare chromosomal translocation and had actually lost her 5 older children before the age of 2. Her husband worked long hours to make ends meet and was rarely present. The mother was also wary of healthcare professionals because of her past experiences. This mother, over the course of my 2 weeks on this rotation, we developed a strong bond as we worked together to care for her daughter. She expressed appreciation for the time I spent with her daughter and the way I didn't dismiss her worries as futile, even though it was clear to both of us that her daughter was unlikely to live a long and healthy life. For me, these interactions were an important reminder of the way that respect begets trust and invites us into the life of a family during a difficult time. Some encounters with patients and families are more challenging, particularly when mental health problems and difficult social situations complicate the picture. But even on days when you feel burnt out and struggle to find the joy in your work, there are patients and families who remind you why you do what you do. On my vascular surgery rotation, a 40-year-old double amputee decided to share his life story with me one afternoon. "I can tell you care. I can see it in your eyes," he said. He went on to describe the car accident where he had lost his first leg and his best friend. He described the depression and regret he fought daily in the aftermath of the accident. He described the challenges he faces every day being a double amputee. Yet, amidst it all, he was confident in his final statement. "I know there's a reason I'm here. There's a reason I've made it this far." I love sharing my own stories, but my hope is that you'll make time to reflect on your own experiences. Each rotation will require you to reflect on at least one patient encounter, but I hope you will make time to process your experiences more frequently than that. Talk to your friends and mentors about the ethical dilemmas that you face, respecting HIPAA, of course. Read or listen to books, both medical and non-medical, and expand your vocabulary for talking about life, death, illness, and purpose. As you receive your white coats today, my hope is that it will be more than a uniform, more than a protective layer, more than a convenient carrying case for all those shiny new diagnostic tools that you just bought. Let it be a reminder, not only of the responsibility and authority that comes with being a doctor, but of the humility and lifelong learning you've committed to in your mission statement. So I urge you, study diligently, be disciplined, but leave room for creativity and for thankfulness. Remember the lessons you learn at each stage. Remember to support each other. Remember that you're never alone. When you struggle, reach out to your upperclassmen, many of whom have walked through similar doubts and challenges throughout their time in medical school. Remember not just the ups, but also the downs, so that you can move forward stronger and be equipped to help those who come after you. Each step of the way, remind yourselves of the words of my patient. "I know there's a reason I'm here. There's a reason I've made it this far." Thank you and good luck.
We will now begin the formal presentation of the white coats. Of special note, if a mentor was not able to join us today, his or her student will receive their white coat from the master of their college. Will Cary College please come forward? The College Master of Cary College is Dr. Arthur Sagalowski. The following students are mentored by Dr. David Auerbach. Anaporni Asokan. Victor Daescu. Ashley Elizabeth Farley. Tiffany Kim Loan Lei. Rohit Pramod Nair. Rogelio Alberto Trevino Schouten Hernandez. The following students are mentored by Dr. Beth Brickner. Ashlyn Kennard Lafferty. Pooja Morella. Santiago Oleechea. Jonathan Edward Palmer. David Shu. Olaide Sode. The following students are mentored by Dr. Jim Luby. Richard Joseph Sinclair III. Garrett Michael Sherrill. Chandrasekhar Sundarajan. Diksha Verma. Rachel Williams. Mentored by Dr. Shauna Nesbitt. Sarah Susan Abraham. William Holt Garner. James Keith Hazen. Naveen Haragu. Tamara Ann Vore. Avery Lind Young. Mentored by Dr. Samir Pandya, Jeremy Michael Amard. Paul DeCuna. Thomas Raymond Emmett, Jr. Haley Hope Holderness. Kara Nicole Jacobson. Mentored by Dr. Ankit Patel. Johnson Graham Caden Andre. Samya Anam Isa. Caitlin Darlene Jones. Ángel Andrés Valencia. Heather Shao. Mentored by Dr. Adrian Salazar. Claire Ann Beltran Abajay. Bhargav Aramili. Kevin Wilson Dang. Cody Mark Eldridge. Eugenia Kakadiaris. Rachel Kim. Ladies and gentlemen, Cary College. Our next college is Estabrook College. The College Master of Estabrook College is Dr. David Johnson. Mentored by Dr. Renee Abraham, Maya Adams. Nicholas Kohler. Prem Nimesh Patel. Christina Vanessa Sanchez. Vincent Tran. Lauren Lee Truitt. Mentored by Dr. Andrea Johnson. Jennifer Cardona. Moses Aaron Forge. Bayan Nathan Mogan Robbie. Christine Foe. Swathi Sneha Ryasam. Lucian Zhao. Mentored by Dr. Christine Kolstad. Carson Bernard. Yida Liu. Valeria Mejia Martinez. Chidima Nagazi Nadi. Jean Jacob Nyshen. Meghana Reddy. Mentored by Dr. Christopher Madden. Peter Luo. Amisha Amet Mehta. Umar Syed Nader. Mackenzie Nicole Parker. Cheyenne Parsa. Arlen Suarez Ares. Mentored by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Casey Kai. Priya Gariki Pati. Shamraze Hyder. Parker Regal. Ana Maria Raita. Jesus Sotelo. Mentored by Dr. Angela Orlino. Ashley Lynn Kosick. Andrew Lee Davis. Justin Sungpyo Kong. Pratusha Manthina. Hin Pietrowski. Monica Saripella. Mentored by Dr. Vivian Roche. Jeff Chapman. Jordan Franklin. Karthik Neil Kulkarni. Jeanette Ordonez. Keone Sebastian Barilla. Tien Hong Win Tran. Ladies and gentlemen, Estabrook College. Our next college is Fashena College. The College Master of Fashena College is Dr. Dorothy Sindelbach. Mentored by Dr. Jacqueline Albin. Claire Webb Bonnyman. Nadi Bimal Desai. William Craig Kemper. Jim Liu. Hiran Anil Patel. Josh Benny Pidikayo. Mentored by Dr. Joseph Berger. Russell Jack Jenkins. Brian Liu. Andrew George Pliska. Vanessa Ramirez de Ariano. Melissa Evangelio Sing Sing. Ava Michelle Wilson. Mentored by Dr. Tom Dalton. Priya Ashley Chalaya. Joseph Gulko. Lynn Guo. Yash Kadakia. Anthony Guang Win. Lisa Renee Teely. Mentored by Dr. James Huth. Mian Mohammed Tabarak Bilal. Alexa Ann Ciarola. Al Farouk Y. El Ishi. Wei Zhao Wang. Lindsay Tu Win. Bhagashri Pandey. Mentored by Dr. Zaiba Jetpuri. McKay Allen Cobble. Nathan Garza. Nimai Jayant Kulkarni. Deborah Tololepe Oyedapo. Tanya Pothini. Braden Seal. Mentored by Dr. Bonnie Prokesh, Miriam Ali. Lucy Kai. Brandon Everett. Madison Danae Granger. Aaron Shee. Robert Juan Trevino, Jr. Mentored by Dr. Susan Scott. Taylor Lee Sharon. Henry Carr Patrick III. Hannah Ramseywack. Dat Kong Truong. Andrew Glenn Winsauer. Ladies and gentlemen, Fashena College. Our next college is Pritchard College. The college master of Pritchard College is Dr. Carol Croft. Mentored by Dr. David Bayless, Daniel Galvan. Mathuri Gautam. Ali Karam. Sarah Koshi. Mark Menino. Kelly Ann Schmidt. Mentored by Dr. Ann Brancaccio. Jason Kai Lin. Tyler Christian Nelson. Casey Strauss. Mentored by Dr. Ellen Grishman. Stacy Elaine Evans. Brianne Nicole Lacey. Try Pham. Devin Jaydeep Shah. Shanshan Yan. Mentored by Dr. Mary McGarry. Amar Aidenwala. Stephanie Kim. Amalia Pratapa. Roshan Ravi Shankar. Eli Reynolds. Mentored by Dr. Dan Septum. Autumn Rose Greenfield. Peter Chen Leung. Nidish Lokesh. Brooklyn Palmer. Ethan Edward Raber. Amani Ismat Ramiz. Mentored by Dr. Ed Wells. Ryan Loneal Beckner. Sophia Maria Conga. Vineeth Committee. Ravinderjeet Singh. Aiden Kohana Strother. Brianna Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, Pritchard College. Our next college is Selden College. The College Master of Selden College is Dr. Craig Rubin. Mentored by Dr. Stephanie Brinker, Priyanka Guru. Joseph Nathan Little. Cameron Joseph Menezes. Caitlin Eileen O'Connor. Blair Walker Reapin. Corey Logan Snyder. Mentored by Dr. Michael Chu, Haley Ann Brown. Taylor Malcolm Fitzgerald. Sydney Catherine Mulqueen. Aparna Panathpur. Mentored by Dr. Elwood Jones. Blake Ferguson. Aaron Kimi Hung. Fawad Khan. Gabriella Marie Quinn. Prachi Shathan Shah. Amanda Marie Trevino. Mentored by Dr. Nancy Kelly. Sahiba Bhatnagar. Vladislav Bondar. Lauren Elizabeth Ford. Vinay Calvacherla. Madeline Ann O'Brien. Esteban Zapata Nunez.
Mentored by Dr. Angela Mahalik, Alyssa Chin. Ishwar Daniel Sachin Chakri. Scott Crawford. Courtney Ann Newman. And Jesus Portillo.
Mentored by Dr. Biff Palmer. Saeed Munib Ajaz. Miranda Joe Jankovic. Aji Fatu Omar Sahor. Noah Bruce Sorrell. Jacob Thomas Wood. Brenda Zhao. Mentored by Dr. Amelia Thomas, Sasha Ajaz. Ashley Valerie Chua. Gianna Maggiori. Joshua Ellie Mayer. Mauricio Valdez. Ladies and gentlemen, Selden College. Our next college is Sprague College. The college master of Sprague College is Dr. William Turner. Mentored by Dr. Kareem Abdel Fattah, David Hutto. Courtney Johnson. Hijo Kum. Nicholas James Edward Marshall. Benjamin Wang. Mentored by Dr. Sujata Bhushan, Brian Rizal Carr. Alex Figueroa. Yasmin Milian. Ofelia Negrete Vasquez. Akshath Manish Patel. Revathi Rivella. Mentored by Dr. Michael Burton. Joshua Amaya. Timote Kellermeyer. Allison Liu. Vanessa Rodriguez. Stephanie Shea. Abhinav Reddy Thamala. Mentored by Dr. Clarice Grimes. Joseph Avery Campaign. Sarah Chow. Malvika Govil. Caroline Blake McFarland. Kadioth Shravan Nanibawina. Avni Amit Shah. Mentored by Dr. Padraig Al-Sulaban. Mir Jawer Ali. Haley Brooklyn Baker. Clark Job Meesum. Isabel Miller. Rodrigo Sarmento. Jennifer Wang. Mentored by Dr. Belinda Vicioso. Jawahir Azam. Christine Lynn Chen. Amrit Srinathi Gonagunta. Christopher Lee Johns. Joshua Charles Curian. And last but certainly not least, Jessica Elise Lowe. Ladies and gentlemen, Sprague College. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2023.